Chapter 641. That's right. Wilbur's expression darkened. Sullivan Cromwell is from Eagle City. I went to Eagle City a few days ago and got into a bit of trouble with the son of the person in charge there. I taught him a lesson, but it looks like he hasn't learned anything from it. Zeke smiled. I will go then. I will make sure that he wishes he was dead for challenging you. I'll go too. Ever since I started working for you, I haven't been able to make any contributions, sir. Please give me a chance to do so, Chester said. Under normal circumstances, even sanctuary-level cultivators would avoid direct conflict with the governors of lands. Though cultivators were formidable, so was the government, as the Department of Paranormal Research and Defense would interfere once cultivators acted out of line. The Department of Paranormal Research and Defense was packed with sanctuary-level cultivators and weaponry made specifically to deal with cultivators, so ordinary cultivators could not rival them. Wilbur was different, however. He was no ordinary cultivator, nor was he simply at the sanctuary level. On top of that, he worked for the Department of Paranormal Research and Defense. Zeke and Chester had sworn to follow Wilbur, so they must follow his command regardless of the cost. Hence, they were both eager to kill the person who offended Wilbur. After a few thoughtful moments, Wilbur said, Chester should go. That guy's name is Justin Yeager. Just teach him a lesson, but don't take his life. Yes, sir. I will head out now, Chester said. Wilbur nodded, and Chester left after bowing. Zeke was slightly displeased that he was not entrusted with the mission but could only give up. You, Matt, Gerard, and Len will keep tending to the others. I have something else to do and need to head to Giara Province with a guy named Leonard. Tell them not to bother me. Yes, sir. Zeke bowed. Wilbur nodded and transformed back to his original face, before heading out from another direction to sit down at Leonard's table. Where did you go? Leonard asked in displeasure. Wilbur chuckled. My stomach hurt, so I went to the washroom. Oh, you. Leonard shook his head. It's such a pity. The fight between the Divine General and Sullivan Cromwell was absolutely amazing and you missed it. Wilbur smiled. What a shame. When are we heading to Elder City? There's no hurry. Let's eat here and immerse ourselves in the atmosphere around the area for now, Leonard said. Wilbur had no choice but to nod in agreement. Meanwhile, Zeke and the three major clans announced that the chairman needed to leave and that they were charged to attend to the guests. No one dared to say anything about Wilbur's departure as he was practically a god in everyone's eyes. They all soon started drinking together and the owner of the Drunken Inn, Ty, led his staff and served the dishes, all the while chatting with others joyously. Leonard was just introducing the dishes to two ladies when Wilbur turned and accidentally met Nancy's eyes. Instantly, they both saw something in each other's eyes. Wilbur immediately looked away, but soon decided otherwise and walked toward Nancy. Chapter 642. Nancy instantly started panicking as Wilbur walked over. Hello, Nancy. What a coincidence. Wilbur's words sounded like a cheap pickup line, but he did not know what else to say. It simply felt odd for him to not come over and say hello. Nancy nodded. Indeed. I don't have work today, so I came out for a stroll. A strange feeling overwhelmed Wilbur as he wondered if Nancy had come knowing that he was here as well. Just then, the man next to Nancy said, Nancy, is this your friend? Oh. She was stunned for a moment. This is my friend, Wilbur. Wilbur. This is a friend that my family introduced to me. His name is Asher Bardet. Wilbur instantly realized that Asher was likely a potential match for Nancy if he was introduced to her through her family. He smiled and extended his arm toward Asher. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Your name sounds familiar though, Asher said. Wilbur smiled. It's a common name. There are countless people out there who share the same name. Nancy, on the other hand, continued to observe Wilbur intently after introducing the two. Would you like to sit with us? Asher asked. No. It's fine. There's something else that I need to do. I'll let you get back to your conversation. Wilbur waved his hand and returned to Leonard's side. Nancy did not find what she was looking for in Wilbur's eyes and lowered her head quietly. Asher frowned and studied Wilbur's retreating figure. When Wilbur returned, Leonard was bragging to the two ladies about how successful he was in Elder City. The two women were cooperative too and asked to travel with him. Clearly, Leonard had just met these women. Leonard was in a great mood and started to lose himself in the compliments he received from the ladies. He turned to Wilbur and said, "Kid, I'm quite pleased with you. So let me take you around and show you the real world." "Sure. I was waiting for you to say that." Wilbur grinned. The two ladies helped Leonard up and he stumbled off, with Wilbur following closely behind. Asher looked at Nancy, who kept her head down, and asked softly, "Do you like him?" Nancy looked up abruptly in surprise. Asher chuckled. "It's hard to ignore considering the way you stare at him." "I'm sorry, Asher," she whispered. He smiled. "Pursue him if you like him. Don't let him slip away like I did with the women I loved." With that said, he stood to leave, leaving Nancy behind by herself in a daze. Wilbur and Leonard left the drunken inn and Leonard told Wilbur to drive, as he sat at the back with two women in his arms. Wilbur chuckled and gladly drove toward Elder City. Elder City was the leading pharmaceutical city in Dasha. The biggest market for medical ingredients was located there and the daily trade was in the hundreds of millions. Wilbur listened to Leonard as he drove and realized that the two women were models in Town. Giara Province and Kardon Province were neighboring provinces, so they were not far apart, and Wilbur arrived at Elder City in the evening. Upon arrival, Leonard made a phone call to invite a few friends to the best spot in the biggest nightclub in Elder City. Wilbur relied on Leonard to take him to the underground auction, so he had no choice but to follow him.